All right, gang, let's dive right into it. Welcome to another edition of Webinar Wednesday. It's truly great to be with everyone here today. If this is your first time joining Webinar Wednesday, welcome to all. I am Jason there on the left, and as always, we're lucky to be joined by David Rockland, the digital strategist here at Brilliant Directories. David, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Hey everybody, glad to be back with you for webinar 139. Got some great new updates and a really interesting automated workflow demo that we'll be sharing.
Awesome. As always, we started streaming on YouTube. So not only are we in the webinar here, but also streaming live on YouTube Live. We always recommend that you join our YouTube channel and subscribe to it. It's the best way to get our newest videos, training, and tutorials. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube. We invite everyone to join our Facebook group. It's a great way to keep in touch in between Webinar Wednesdays. You can head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. Tons and tons of new constructive discussions are created every day by the group members, people working on their membership websites, people asking how-to questions. Sometimes you're stuck, sometimes you're figuring out how to grow. It's really a great place to keep in touch with fellow membership and directory website owners. So we do welcome everyone to join. And we have a handful of new names joining us here today. Beth, welcome. Evie, who's new from a previous webinar, welcome. And also Carly, nice to see you here. Webinar Wednesdays are a great way for us to not only keep in touch with the BD community, but to share with you some of the new features that are released week after week. We try to focus on the features that can help you with some of the topics mentioned here, how to increase your website traffic, convert visitors into members, improve your website navigation. And actually the tip of the week is going to be a little bit of search engine optimization, increasing traffic, basically how to market your site automatically. So we will cover that topic. If you have questions about your website on any of these topics or anything else, please save them. We'll try to get to as many questions as we can in just a little bit. Okay, and moving on, we have a small handful of really nice BD Lab updates. I'll breeze through this list before we get into the tip of the week. The first one at the top of the list here, we have added a new search filter for searching reviews in the admin area. You can now filter your reviews and member leads by date. Let me show you exactly where that is. Just a little bit of quality of life improvement there. So this would be both in the interaction section would be under member leads and member reviews. And what we have now, if you're searching for reviews, of course, you can search by the status, the overall rating. Now you'll see a date range picker here, and that would be when the review was created or submitted. And the same with the member leads section. We've actually done a small UI update here, design update here. These settings were getting too long for this little blue heading area here. So we've created this plus sign, and it's allowed us to kind of tidy up some of the search filters here. And actually, this is going to unlock the ability for us to include even more search filters in the future, because now we have a place to put them. But here we can see for now the date range picker is also available, and that would be the date that the lead was created. So no updates now on the additional search filter fields that we'll add here, but now we do have kind of a design structure on how to add additional search filters, and the same would apply to the reviews. We could see we're almost getting to the end of the line here for reviews, and it might already be hitting the edge here, depending on the size of your monitor. All right, and we have some updates with webhooks. Actually, I believe the next tip of the week, we're gonna get into more detail on this webhook, the ability to send your smart list contacts to other CRM solutions. I'll show you where you can set this up. So what this allows you to do is, if you're familiar with the smart list in Brilliant Directories, you can create segmented lists of your members. For example, all your California members who have an active status and are in the top level category doctor. You can create a smart list of just those contacts. So with this update, you can now send that smart list directly to another CRM such as MailChimp or Constant Contact or HubSpot. So basically you can start moving bulks of members, of segmented members, into other CRM solutions. Let me show you where you can enable that and go through this workflow. The first thing is you would have to enable the webhook for SmartList. I'll show you where that is first. So this would be under Developer Hub. And you want to go to Webhooks. And if you're not familiar with webhooks, in just a moment, I'll share a couple links which explain how these work, and a link to this documentation. Basically allows you to send your Brilliant Directories data out to thousands, really, third-party solutions. So in this case, let's look for smart lists. Okay, so here we can see the member smart list. So there's different types of smart lists. You can have smart lists for your leads, reviews, form inquiries, and this update is for all of these types of smart lists. You just need to create a different webhook for each one because they have different data points. In this case, let's look at member smart list. If you've created a webhook, you can just enable it and post the webhook link here. And after you follow this step, if you go to your smart list in your My Members section, only after you've completed that step, you'll then see the Send to Webhook option under the action. So if you wanted to send all your members, as an example, this is a smart list, you can send all your members to a third-party CRM. You could just click this button and the webhook would take care of everything. You can see here, these are other list sources, the forms inbox, the reviews. I didn't set up webhooks for those, so I'm not seeing the Send to Webhook option here. But for members, I did enable it in the webhook setting. So in the next webinar, we'll get into more details about how you can utilize this. Pretty straightforward, but really powerful once you learn what you can do with that. Okay, another quality of life. This is really important. I think this next one regarding redirects. If you're moving platforms to Brilliant Directories, or you're updating an older website and you're also porting it over to Brilliant Directories, and you have older web pages or older URL structures for maybe your member profiles or your search results pages, you would now have the ability to set up redirect rules for older URLs for the newer ones on your website. You can import a CSV file similar to how you import members, and you can in bulk set up those 301 redirect rules. Let me show you where that is and also the format that you would use for importing. This would also be under the Developer Hub and under 301 redirects. So 301 redirect rules are if you have a web page, let's say it's called /Jason is awesome, and that page is online for a period of time, and you decide that's not a good URL for that. You want to change it to Jason is really awesome for the URL of that page. You're going to want to redirect all the traffic from Jason is awesome to Jason is really awesome. You would set up a 301 redirect rule. So for those of you who are not familiar with that, but once you're on this page, 301 redirects, you can import a CSV file, and you would look for a CSV file on your computer or device. And this is a small snippet here. Let me zoom in a bit. You really just need two fields in your two columns in your import file: the source URL, the old one basically, and the destination URL. And you don't have to put your full website URL, just put everything after your website, like mywebsite.com, and then that's all you need. You don't need to include that part. So just the source URL and the destination URL. If you'd like to, you can add the type, if it's profile redirects or data post redirects, and you can also optionally add a database ID. These two are not required for the import, but the source and the destination are. So if you need to import 1,000 redirect rules, you can now do so very easily. Okay, and no action is required on this one. However, we have updated our recommended image size settings in the admin area. These are slightly larger recommended image sizes. What we've learned is having a slightly larger default image in the space that it's going to fill actually helps that image render a bit sharper, not egregiously larger, just slightly larger. So we've updated our recommended image sizes. Again, no action is needed. You don't really need to do this on your site, but if you'd like to, we do invite you to do so. What you can do is go to the Developer Hub again, And under your image settings, probably most people have never even come here. You don't really need to, but if you just want to take advantage of the slightly larger and recommended sizes, you can click on Restore Defaults. And what it's going to do is just going to update the max width and max height of some of these image settings. So what this does is if your member is uploading a profile image or an image with their article, and it's like 10,000 pixels wide, it's going to optimize it and auto resize it to the maximum you've set here. So in this case, 1,200 pixels wide by 640 pixels height. Those would be the maximum dimensions of that said image. So this just helps make sure that images are not egregiously large file sizes when your members or users are adding them to your site. And we've increased these slightly just for a little bit crisper and better resolution moving forward for the images members add to your sites. And we have a lot of big things coming soon. I've mentioned this before, emails. We are creating some settings to improve deliverability and to ensure your messages land in the inbox and not the spam folder of your members. This is going to be released in July, August, so by the end of this month, beginning of August. This one I got demoed by the development team today. We have an API being released also by the end of this month, beginning of August, the ability to import feeds and data into your BD site. We are starting with importing member data. So you'll be able to add members to your site from other sources. A really cool use case for this would be creating like a Google form or like a free sign-up registration form using another tool like Typeform or Jotform or whatever it might be, and having that submission create the member record into your site. Also for bulk adding members to your site rather than using the CSV import tool. And then also what this is going to do, this is huge, the ability to update your member record. So right now on the BD websites, you can import members, but we have heard from time to time, I don't need to import, I need to update my existing member records through an Excel file or something like that. You'll be able to do that with this tool. So really excited for that. We're going to start with members, then we're going to move to leads. So you can funnel leads into your site from third-party sources, and then member reviews, and then lastly, data posts, like blog posts, property listings, things like that. Also a new design and workflow, for sending newsletters. That's going to be coming out in August and September, we hope, and tons more speed and security updates, lots of quality of life features and exciting new releases. Big shout out and thank you to the BD community. As always, your suggestions in the Facebook group, the support tickets you create, they're all opportunities for us to improve the platform. So we thank you guys for that, and our team is always here for you. Before we move on to the tip of the week, if you want to raise your hand, if you have a comment on any of these features specifically listed here, we can take other questions towards the end of the webinar, but just a comment or question on any of these updates, we can definitely take some. And we see Olga's hand is up here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, how are you today?
Oh, hi, how are you?
Good, thanks.
It's basically about the event post types. I use this post type a lot, blog post type, and the main concern is that if you don't put the end date, the post disappears. And I find it a little bit inconvenient because you would want to show people the past events because they want to see the track record of what you did before. And it's also, well, maybe I'm wrong, but it improves the CAO. So say there was a summit in 2021 and we're hosting a summit this year, so we can link to it, read more and sign up and stuff like that. So like for me to show the events from the previous year, I actually had to put the date like 10 years ahead. So this post remains live. Is it possible to do something about it?
Yeah, this came up in a previous webinar. Actually, we haven't taken any action on it, but what we think we want to do is the ability to search dates in the past on the front end of the website. So you could search dates from the previous year, and then you would see those in the search results. So yeah, I think we have it on our list. We would just have to update the query that allows for what event post to show in the search results. And if it's a date in the past, then to respect that and to show those posts. So unless you do a customization on the search query right now for events, I don't think it would be easy to do, but it's definitely something on our roadmap. Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. I have a list here of stuff from the webinar. We'll bring it up to the team. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Bye.
For sure. No worries, Olga. Okay, let's see. Anyone else has their hand up here? We have Evie here.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, how are you today?
Yeah, I've done it. Okay. All right, first I appreciate Olga's question. I'd also like events not to disappear. You mentioned using something like Typeform to onboard members, if I heard you correctly. I'm very interested in that. Are we going to be able to ask any questions we'd like, and are we going to be able to let visitors search by those parameters?
Great question. So yeah, the idea would be that you could set up forms with other solutions, and then the submissions from those forms create members on your site. So you can have application forms, you can ask as many questions as you want. That data will be added to your Brilliant Directories database. The ability to create those search filters, I think I've chatted with you before about this. Right now, creating custom search filters does require a small customization. There are some developers in the marketplace that offer tools for it. So it is possible, just with a little bit of modification to the search modules. You can then search by those new fields and parameters.
I know I would love the flexibility that some of the options that are outside of the platform offer now. So I am really excited to hear about more updates on that.
Of course. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're super excited about that. It's just going to unlock so much ability to add data into your BD site from other website properties you have and things like that. So super awesome there. All right, let's take one more question here. Let's see if anyone else's hands are up. I do see one more hand up. Robert here. How's it going, Robert?
Hi, good, thanks. I heard you mentioned Jotforms, and I know I brought that up a lot in the past, and I know a lot of others have commented that it's a really impressive thing. So would we be able to use that to onboard new members using that? Okay.
Yeah. So what's cool about these forms is, just like Google Forms is like the most basic type, but like Jotforms or Typeform, you can then embed their forms on your website or another website, or a page they create for you. And what you'll be able to do is, after the submission, someone fills out the form and submits it, it can update or create a record into your Brilliant Directories member database.
Okay. And then, because one of the neat things about that conditional logic, if you, for instance, you ask a question like, do you have any members in Canada? And if you press no, it skips to the next one. If you press yes, then it displays the states, the provinces of Canada. Just an example. And it just, because I noticed on the BD form, all the questions are displayed whether they're relevant or not.
Right. And those conditional rules you can easily create with those solutions is actually what I'm most excited for as well, with regards to things like creating leads, the member leads on your site. So if someone's searching for a top level category, then you can ask another set of questions based on that. Is this for your kitchen? Okay, what do you need done? Or is this for your roof? How many square feet is it? So you can use those forms to create conditional rules for the form, and that all gets submitted as a lead into your leads database for your members to then purchase.
Yeah, and by July or August, you said that one should be?
So the first one is going to focus on members. That's going to be July, August. The next one is going to be leads, because that could directly help websites generate more revenue from the ability to capture and sell leads to their members. And then it'll be reviews, and then the last one will be data posts, like blog posts, property listings, things like that.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, super excited about that. Tons more updates coming soon. Thank you guys for those questions. All right, and with that, we can move on to today's and this webinar's tip of the week. David, if you don't mind, may I pass things over to you now?
Absolutely. So diving back into Zapier and webhooks this week, keeping on with this theme here, showing you some more examples about how webhooks can really be useful in automating some of your workflows when it comes to your website. In this tip of the week, we'll be showing how to automatically share newly published posts on your website, whether they be from you or from your members, onto your social media accounts. So it's a really simple process once you get it set up, and it works pretty well. So we're excited to dive in here on this. First of all, let's go over the Zapier integration and webhooks and what you can do, and looking a little bit into the future. So right now, what you can do with webhooks on your Brilliant Directories site is you can send data from various forms on your Brilliant Directories website out to third-party platforms. We've covered this before, but some of these forms would be like when new members sign up, when somebody signs up to your newsletter, if somebody sends you a message through your contact form, when new leads are submitted to your members, and when your members receive new reviews. As I mentioned, when posts are published, which is what we'll be talking about here today, as well as any of your custom forms. So anytime somebody fills out a form like this, you'll be able to take that data and send it out to thousands of third-party platforms using webhook automation platform like Zapier, which we'll be showing in this example here. As Jason mentioned, phase 2 will be coming in the very near future. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel here, and that's actually being able to receive data into your Brilliant Directories website from external sources. So right now, we can only send data out, but pretty soon, you'll actually be able to take data into your website. And just a quick footnote here, in this example and in the previous examples that we've shown, we've been using Zapier for these webhook demos, but other webhook automation platforms will also work just the same. Pabbly, Integrately, Make, Automate.io. There's a bunch of others. Obviously, the UI for those platforms will be a little different than what you'll be seeing here with Zapier, but the process and the functionality of it all should be just about the same, regardless of which platform you choose to use. So before we dive into how to automatically share your newly published posts on social media, let's first talk about the quick benefits of actually automating the sharing on social media. It's probably pretty obvious to the majority of us, but first let's talk about what currently happens before we set up any of this webhook stuff. So right now, you or any other of your website administrators, as well as any members that have the ability to publish posts, can publish posts on your website. But then if you wanted to share those published posts on your social profiles, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere else, that has to be manually done, either by you or one of your other website managers. You have to manually share those posts or schedule them on the various social networks. So kind of taking this a step further, automating this process using webhooks and using Zapier, what we'll be doing here is showing you how to automatically share those newly published posts on the Brilliant Directories website directly over to your social media profiles. And then what you can also do, taking this even a step further, if you're currently using or you want to use some social media management tool like Hootsuite or Buffer, there's a few others out there, you can also send the post data over to, say, Hootsuite to schedule the post or use any of their other tools that they have available in their platform instead of just sending it directly out over to the social network. So quite a bit of flexibility and options here by utilizing the webhooks. So a couple things to note really quick before we dive into the steps and showing you how to do all of this. On your Brilliant Directories website, there's two different types of webhook events to consider. There's post standard and post photo album. We'll be utilizing the post standard webhook event in this example. Now, where these two types of posts, standard and photo album, differ is that for post standard, these are the post types that just have one image upload field, where you can just set like a thumbnail and that's it. So those are articles, events, videos, audio, listings, jobs, coupons, and discussion posts. The photo album posts, these are post types where you can actually attach a photo album to the post. So many of you are probably familiar with this. There's obviously the photo albums post type. Then there's properties, classifieds, products, and digital products as well. So in the example that we'll be showing here, we're just going to be showing you how to do this with blog posts. And so that's just a standard post. So we'll be utilizing the post standard webhook event. Again, we'll get into all of this as we walk you through the steps of how to set this up. And then a couple things to consider on the Zapier side, or Pabbly or Integrately or whichever other webhook platform you're using. We want to make sure that the time zone that's set in our Zapier account matches the time zone that's set for our website. And then also, there's going to be a bunch of different types of data that's sent over to Zapier from the newly published post that we'll be posting on our Brilliant Directories site. And so you can utilize many of those different data to establish different filters and actions throughout the workflow. And we'll show you a couple examples of that, but just something to keep in mind. Again, you'll see a lot of data be pulled in the webhook, and you can utilize a lot of that to set up different types of filters and actions. Okay, so giving you an overview of what we'll be diving into. So on our Brilliant Directories site, the only thing we need to do is enable the webhook and add the webhook link for the post standard event. Again, if you want to set this up for, say, the properties post type, which is classified as a photo album, since you can add a bunch of different photos to that, we'll be using the post photo album webhook event in that case. But because we're just doing articles, we're going to use the post standard event. Then on Zapier, it's just a few steps to set this up. First thing is creating the new Zap or the event workflow. Then we need to establish any relevant filters and or delays that we want to include in this event. We'll show you all of that. Then, really simple, just need to connect and sign into the social media accounts that we want these posts to automatically be shared to. So in this example, we'll show you how to do that with Facebook and Twitter. And then after that, it's just setting up the template for how you want these automated posts to get shared out to the social networks and creating those posts. So it's a pretty simple process, to be honest. On the BD side, there's really not a whole lot to do. And I guess now let's show everybody how to set up the automated sharing.
Yeah, this is really great. I think what we can do is let's actually create a post and watch it get added to the sample Facebook and Twitter accounts we created. And then we'll come back to Zapier and we'll actually recreate the steps to create that quote unquote Zap. And what we'll do is let's come to the website. So we've set everything up on this website, and I'll actually do a sample blog post here. Let's go to the dashboard. And here are the sample Twitter and Facebook accounts we have. So this is our Twitter account for Brilliant Directories. I'll just refresh the page here. We do have a pinned post here, but we could see the next most previous post was for the webinar today, 33 minutes ago. And we have a sample Facebook company page from years and years ago that never turned into anything. So we'll use this as the demo to post something to a Facebook company page. So you can see we've been doing some tests here. We posted something 47 minutes ago. So what we'll do now is come back to a Brilliant Directory site. And what we'll do is we'll come to the website blog articles and we'll publish a new article. So we want to set the publish to yes, and we'll say this is the webinar test. We can upload an image. We'll do the cover image from today's tip of the week, auto share content on social media. So yeah, we could just create the blog post as we want. We'll set the publish date just for right now. So the publish date is July 13th, 4:34 p.m. on my computer. That's the time in Los Angeles right now, 4:34 p.m. And that is also the time of the website. It's off by 10 minutes here. I'm not sure why. However, the website time and the time in Zapier and my time are all the same. So any timing rules are all going to line up. And actually we could say, let's take some content from our blog here. And we'll just copy some paragraphs here. And let's create this blog post. We don't need any tags, and we'll just go ahead and save the changes. Okay, great. So behind the scenes, what's happening right now is the data from this blog post has been sent to Zapier. and Zapier is processing it through its workflows. And we do have some filters in place and things like that, and we'll go through that in just a moment. However, it's going to either qualify or stop this post from getting added to our Twitter. Let's refresh here. Let's cross our fingers. Okay, here it is. Must read. This is the webinar test. So we can see this has now been posted 17 seconds ago on our Twitter feed here. And I'll go ahead and refresh this Design Showdown page. And we can see here, Design Showdown posted just now. This is the webinar test. That is the title of the article. Click here to read more. You can go ahead and click on this. It brings you back to the website, so it's posting to your social media automatically. It's going to bring traffic back to your website from people who see this. Same thing with Twitter. We'll click on this link here. And of course, it's going to bring people to the blog article. This is the webinar test. So that's what happened. And let's show you guys how we accomplished that. What I'd like to do is show you the steps in Zapier, and then we're going to build one totally from scratch, because this is the tip of the week and you guys should know how to do this brick by brick. But let me just do a quick overview of what was set up, and then we'll recreate these with a new Zapier workflow. So let me just edit this here. So what we did is first we created a webhook, and what they do is they give us a URL to copy. This is the webhook URL, and we copy that to our BD site. That is the only step you need to do on your Brilliant Directories website, is in this step of Zapier, copy this URL, and we'll show you where to do that when we recreate this Zap. And we can see when we do tests, it gives us all the data points of a post. In this test, the title of the article was "In the Future." We were doing some tests. It says the form name, the data ID. Every post type on your site has an ID number. Your blog posts, your photo albums, everything has a data ID number. We'll show you where to grab that as well. The content of the post, posted by the member. So this was posted by member 1. Their email address is sample@sample.com. You may not do anything with this data, but it is coming into Zapier in case you need to use it. And the full file name of the blog post. So this is the URL of the blog post. And then some notable dates, the last time the post was updated, the post live date, that's when it was created, and there's other things like the post start date, that's if it's published in the future. So you could create a bunch of blog articles and schedule them to be posted on your site in the future. We also added a special delay. Let's say we're scheduling a post to on our website, and we don't want it to be published until next week. So in this workflow, we created a delay. Zapier has a delay until feature. And what we did is we delayed the workflow until the post start date. It lets you choose a variable from the data. And so we are only going to continue this workflow after the post start date, the scheduled publish date of the post has been hit. And also, how should we handle dates in the past? Because every time you resave a blog post or any post, it's going to send that data into Zapier, and we don't want the same post to be shared over and over and over on your social media channels. So in this case, you can set up different numbers like 15 minutes or 1 hour. So if the publish date has already passed 15 minutes, it will not repost this on your social media channel. So it can prevent duplicate postings for the same thing on your social media channels. After that, so we just put 2 simple filters. I think I skipped a filter here, right, David? Yeah, I did. I did put a conditional filter here. Only continue if the post status is 1. 1 means to be published. If a post title exists, and if post content exists. You can add other filters. For example, if an image exists, maybe you only want to post on your social media if the post included an image, and things like that. Maybe only certain member IDs, because we know the user ID. So you can add additional filters. Again, because this will be pushing to your social channels, you do want to put some roadblocks in place to make sure you're sending quality data to your social media networks. For example, a post title and post content should exist in the post before we send it down the line of the workflow. So after we check for a couple things, we set a delay to only publish this once the publish date has been reached. Then we come to creating the post on Facebook and also creating the post on Twitter. And in this case, as David mentioned, you just connect your Facebook account and page. We've done so here. And the action here, the page we're connecting it to is that sample design showdown. And here is the post. We can write whatever message we want and we can pull data. Remember, I used that finger pointing here and the post title. If we come back to the design showdown, we can see the finger pointing right here. And this is the post title. This is a webinar test. So you can add whatever you want here. You can add hashtags, whatever you think is going to be good in this automated post. You do the same thing for Facebook and Twitter. So in Twitter, if we come down here, you connect your Twitter account. And then under actions, in this case, we didn't use the finger pointing emojis. We just wrote must read, and we put the post title and the file name, which is the URL, the full URL of the post. If we come back to Twitter, we can see here, it says must read. This is the webinar test, and it got all the metadata information, like the image and all that stuff from the blog post itself. So again, you can choose whatever hashtags and things you want in your posts. And that's it. David, I think a good step now would be to recreate this from scratch. Would that be fair?
Let's do it.
All right, so let's get out of here. All right, so we are in our Zapier dashboard. You can go to zapier.com. You can use Pabbly, all these cool integration systems that exist. Let's create a new Zap. And this could also be used, again, you just want to be careful how you do it, but for sending automated emails when certain categories of posts are reached and things like that. The first step you want to do is add app event. We want to select Webhook. So Webhooks by Zapier. And the event type, always want just catch hook. Not raw hook, just catch hook, and continue. We don't need to pick off a child key, so we can just click continue. And here is that URL that we want, your webhook URL. This is the only thing we need to copy into our Brilliant Directories site. So I will copy this, and let's go back to our Brilliant Directories admin area, and I'll close these additional tabs as well. So what you want to do is go to your developer hub, and from here we want to go to webhooks right here, and we want to search for the post and the standard post right here. So I've already set this up. I'll go ahead and delete this. When you come here, this will be the enable webhook will be off, but you want to turn it on, and you want to paste that URL that Zapier is giving you here for the new the catch hook in Webhooks by Zapier, your webhook URL. You want to copy that and paste it right here as the webhook link and click Save Webhook Settings. Okay, now it wants us to test the trigger. So we have to do, it wants us to do a sample post, and it's going to see if the connection is working. So we'll come back to our blog articles. And with all form connections that you make as a webhook, they want you to do one test submission. So fill out the form one time to make sure that it's getting the correct data points of the post. So in this case, yes. So I'll say this is a Zapier test, and we'll do category 3 in this example. Publish date, we'll set it for right now. Smart tags, we'll do Jason and David, and we'll say this is sample content. Anything you have in this form, if you've customized this form and added new custom fields, it will also be sent to Zapier. So that is good to know as well. Let's go ahead and save the changes here. Okay, and let's test the trigger. Let's see if it says we found a request. So the data ID type is 14. I'll show you guys that in a second. Here it is. This is a Zapier test. Category 3 is what I selected, and some other various data here. It's got the full file name for that blog post, revision date, post live date, and the start date, the publish date of that post. So we can go ahead and continue now. And as I mentioned before, David and I thought it would be good to add some filters here. So we want to filter, and what we want to do is first only do this workflow if it's a blog post. So how do we do that? Every post type has a data ID associated with it. And if we want to create a filter for only blog posts, what we want to do is only continue if the data ID is exactly matches, and the data ID for blog posts is 14. Let me show you where you guys can find the IDs of your different post types. Under My Content, if you go to Edit Post Settings, every post type has an ID associated with it. So in this case, website blog articles are uniquely data ID 14. So this post type is ID 14. So this is rules because all the posts are going to get sent through this workflow. We only want to create a filter for if it's website blog article. So data ID 14. And only if the post has a title. So if the post title, and we can just choose exists, I think it's at the bottom here. So if a post title exists and if the post content exists. You can add more filters if you want. The goal here is we want to send valid posts to our social media channels. We don't want to send garbage out to the social media channels. We want to make sure there are at least some substance of meaning. So in this case, we're sending blog articles that we know the admin of the website is creating. It has a post title and post content, and we can continue. And your Zap would have continued. So based on the sample that the test that I did, it's saying that it would have continued. And if there wasn't a title, it would just stop the workflow here and it wouldn't continue with whatever is below this workflow. So in the original example, then I added a delay. You don't have to add a delay, but again, you can use the filters and data from the post to kind of choose what you want to continue down the line here. So in this case, we want to delay until, so do not continue down the workflow until, and what's cool about Zapier, they really make things easy, until, and you can choose a piece of data from the post until my publish date, my start date. So you can search catch hook, this is the data from the post, show all options. So here's all the pieces of information from the post, and there is one for post start date. Let me see if I can find it. I think I can just type start here. Here it is, post start date. Great. So the post start date for this was at 4:44 p.m. That time has already passed. It's 4:48 p.m. So here's the good question to make sure you don't double post if you continue saving a blog post multiple times, because that form is getting saved and that data is getting sent to Zapier each and every time. It says, how should we handle dates in the past? So this date is in the past. Only continue if it's up to 15 minutes. I like that one, which is like the smallest amount of time for, probably within 15 minutes, you're not going to be making too many changes to the publish date and things like that. If you don't set this, then every single time you resave the blog post and come and make an update to it, it's going to send it to your social media channel. So I like continue if it's up to 15 minutes. Again, you can change this, or if you change the publish or start date, it will move the marker. Okay, we can test and continue. I think it is within 15 minutes. Yep, okay, and we can continue down the line here. So we've set up a couple filters. We've set up a delay. So it'll only get sent to the social media once my publish date that's been defined for a blog post has hit. And now it's the fun part. You could send to Facebook. We're going to use Facebook and Twitter in this example, but again, you can do lots of different applications over 5,100 here. We'll do Facebook, okay, and choose an event. Well, it's going to ask you to connect your Facebook account, where you get the pop-up and everything, and you just follow those steps. And what we're going to do is create a page post, a company page, Facebook company page post. And we'll continue. It's asking us to choose an account. So this is my Facebook account here. So it's going to ask me which page I want to do that to, and our sample design showdown. And then here's where we can type the message we want to be the post. So I'll put something catchy here. I'll do, again, must read. And here's what's cool. You can add your own text, but you can also pull the title and all the other stuff from the hook. So I just want to get the title here. the post title. This is a Zapier test. You can go grab some emojis and put them in here, and I'll just add another thing, leave comments below. And let's even do hashtag Zapier, hashtag brilliant, and we'll just leave it at that. And you can add a link URL if you want to make sure. I like to actually, I should put the link here as well. So we'll get another piece of data here, which is the catch webhook, and we'll search for full URL, full file name, and we'll also put that in the link URL under catch webhooks, and we'll get the full file name. There we go. Let's delete this thing here. Perfect. And we'll continue. And we can do a test. So this is the sample test. This is a Zapier test. And we're even putting some hashtags in there, and we'll test it. And let's see if this gets sent. Okay, it looks like it was sent. Let's go to the Design Showdown page. And here it is, must read. This is a Zapier test. Here's a link here. Leave comments below. I have my hashtags here, which kind of help with people finding your posts through searches and whatnot. This is a default social media image set in my general settings, so I didn't have an image here, so it's fell back to the one I have in my general settings. But we can see here it's automatically posted. And if we wanted to continue things, we can add Twitter as the next action and just follow the similar steps. You can create a tweet, connect your Twitter account, etc. It's going to ask you to do all that. Choose an account, Twitter Brilliant Directories, continue, and the next step is just to create your tweet. And we can do the same thing, must read, and then we can get the data. So that's the catch hook. That's where our post data is in. So full file name, we could put the title, etc., etc. And you can also add hashtags and so on. And that's it. And you would just save it. You can continue. Let's test and review. Let's see if this tweet gets sent. All right, let's go to Twitter. So there's a new tweet here. Here it is, must read. This is a Zapier test. In this case, it didn't grab an image. So you can create filters where an image exists, just like we did a filter for the title exists or the content exists. So you can only choose to funnel things that posts that only have images added to them as well. And we could just publish the Zap and turn it on. And that's it. This Zap is running now. As you, the website blog owner, start creating more blog articles, it will start posting it to Facebook and Twitter, given the filters. Once the publish date is reached, because of the delay until filter that we created. And this is just one example of how you can push posts from your website into social media networks, probably into emails, and other platforms where you need to save or store posts that are created on your site. I think, David, did I skip over anything here? I tried to be a little bit thorough here. I think most of it is pretty straightforward though.
I think that covers it. Just one quick thing to reiterate, because we did get a couple questions. If you are using Hootsuite or some other social media management platform, you can certainly set up a webhook to send the post information out to Hootsuite or whatever other platform you're using instead of directly to Facebook, Twitter, etc. So that's certainly an option if you wanted to go that route.
Yeah, here's the Hootsuite option for another action. I assume it would ask you to log into your Hootsuite account from the pop-ups here, and then you would have options of what you do with the post data within Hootsuite's settings here. So yeah, I do see that here. Okay, great. I think what we can do now is, and thanks for putting these slides together, David, we can move on to any questions. If you want to ask questions about the tip of the week or anything about your Brilliant Directories website, we can shift gears here. Use the raise your hand feature. We definitely have time for a good number of questions here, and we'll try to help as many of you guys as we can today. All right, do you see Dan's hand is up here? Let me unmute your microphone. Dan, how are you today?
Good, thanks. How are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. How'd you like the tip of the week today?
Oh, it was good. Liked it a lot. We've been doing something kind of similar to that, but I'm gonna revisit it. I forget if we implemented it across all of ours or not yet. So, but yeah, no, good stuff there.
Awesome.
Okay, so my question is more of a feature request. I had asked some questions or done a feature request last week about kind of sharing the widgets across the different directories and so forth. And as we're working on it this week, I thought it'd be nice to have like a notes section that we could have like in like the widgets or in the forms and the financial plans, just like an admin note section. Because we went through and updated all of our plans, to make some changes and so forth. And then, we'll clone it and then make like one or two changes, and it gets kind of to be cumbersome and hard to remember. And we already have enough spreadsheets externally, so it'd be nice to kind of have something in there too. And then plus for like the forms too, like the make a note like, hey, we updated this and we put the regex here and stuff like that. So same thing with the widgets. It'd be nice to just kind of have a notes section saying like, this is what it does. And then also, so for the widgets, what we do right now is when we customize them, we'll add in like, I think CSS or PHP comments. So then making notes of what customizations we've made, because if you guys update it, then we have to roll it back and then remake our updates and so forth. And so it might be easier just to have like a notes section that stayed dedicated, so we didn't necessarily have to do it that way. But the forms, there's not really any way to do that on there, and same thing with the the membership plans.
I couldn't agree with you more. That's a fantastic suggestion. We do have internal notes for like form inquiries, and we have internal notes for leads. However, widgets, forms, membership plans, etc. That's a great suggestion. So thank you for that. Yeah, I'll definitely pass that along to the team. And we did talk about your widget thing, the ability to clone your widgets onto other website properties that you're the owner of, and we've decided on a workflow for that, or we've talked about a workflow. I don't have a date for that, but it's definitely going to be on our roadmap. So thank you for that suggestion.
Cool. Yeah, one other thing I forgot to mention last week too, and you probably thought of this, but if you can share them between like users like us, that would also probably get you more business, because we could scale up and buy more licenses from you and whatnot too. So
I'm with you. So yeah, thank you for those suggestions. Definitely helpful, especially for power users. So good stuff there.
Thank you.
Thanks as always, Dan. Good stuff. All right, great suggestions there. Okay, we got our good friend Neil here. How you doing, Neil?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
When you're a kid and you get a brand new bicycle for your birthday and you want to ride it like for the next 3 days straight, it's kind of what I like to do with your new Zapier and Pabbly add-on here, because it's really cool. So my question, I guess maybe two questions, is so I've got a blog post author that's my fake little person in my directory, and he does all the blog posts.
Neil, I have to admit, we all have that.
And then I have to I have to approve those from the blog post person. So does it trigger that webhook when I approve it, or does it trigger it when he posts?
I don't think so. I think it's just triggered when it's triggered based on when this form is submitted, not from in the admin area if you have to manually approve a post.
Okay.
So
I guess I should just take post approvals off that member, and that might just solve it. So I was just wondering about the timing, because like you said, you don't want something ridiculous to show up and get posted on Twitter and it was automatic and you didn't realize it actually got posted and that kind of thing. So
what you may want to do is, if you're auto approving it here, I'm not 100% sure on this, and then you come back to edit the post and resave the post, I think it would set the status back to moderate, because if a post is required to moderate, every time the member resaves that post, it gets set back to pending status.
Okay, so probably also need to put in the same trigger that you had about something in there to protect it from getting posted twice. Just do that within the other app.
Yeah, we got pretty clever with it. The delay until was useful based on a future publish date, because you don't want something to get shared before it's supposed to be published on your site anyways. So you could create some fields. I don't know exactly how off the top of my head, but you could manipulate it. I don't know how easily, but maybe a little easily with Zapier and what you're trying to accomplish, especially if you have your ghostwriting on your own site, you're in full control there. So what you could do is maybe just, instead of moderating your posts, just have a habit of setting them for like a year in the future, and then when you're ready to publish them yourself, set like a reasonable publish date.
Okay.
And then it'll work like that.
And then I think last webinar, I think you said your team was working on making sure, or probably making as much data available through those webhooks as possible. Like on that example you did, there were quite a few fields to pick from. So your team is maximizing the data points that come out of the webhook. Is that correct?
Yeah, so in the previous webinar, we were showing how to send a member review into Zapier and send a text message to the members. And you had to manually add a phone number field for the review when it's submitted. Now you don't have to do that. The member who's receiving the review in the webhook is going to be the member's ID, their first name, last name, company name, email address, their phone number with a plus sign at the beginning of it. So you don't have to manipulate the forms and the data as much. I'm sure there's still cases where you do need to, depending on the third-party solution you're trying to sync up with. But yeah, if you see places where some default info would be helpful to be sent along with a webhook, so you don't have to manually add it as a default hidden value in a form or something like that, let us know in the Facebook group or the support team, and if it makes sense, we'll definitely add it in as a data point for the webhook.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, let's take some other questions. Thank you, guys.
All right. Awesome, Neil. Thanks.
Take care.
All right. Good stuff there from Neil. All right. We have somebody here. They've put their name in as Webskly Creative. Maybe it's an agency. You're unmuted now, Webskly.
Okay, it's Kathy. Sorry, I didn't. What's up?
What's up? Okay.
Okay, so we took a huge time out. We had a wedding guide. We took a huge time out, and I'm coming back incorporating the coolest 5 industry guide yet, right? Of course, we all think our guides are cool. And I've been relearning the software because so many awesome things are happening. But I love the web page design. I have a question. So my categories, and I'm just going to share this we're trying to launch this weekend, but my categories are food, fashion, fitness, family, fun. All right? Within each category is subcategories. So for example, food is restaurants and catering and recipes. Okay, you with me? And let's just stick with the food category as an example.
Right.
I love the new page builder. Okay, so I created these topics, right? And of course, this is a Texas directory, so we're using the word getting hungry for topics, right? So I've created a page, getting hungry. Now, on the getting hungry page, when they click on that page, what I'm trying to do is put on all the videos that are related to food categories, all the images that are related to food, all the blog articles related to food. So are you with me? So those are the categories that are going to be in the content categories. Do I need to set up individual widgets for each video category related to food?
What I would do in your case is, I think.
Or am I overcomplicating it?
No. I think this is a good case for the global website search add-on. I'll tell you why. Let me go there. Let me explain what this does. So the global website search tool allows you to search your site for a keyword. So all those things you just mentioned, let's say somewhere in them it said getting hungry, right? Mm-hmm. Or however you're spelling. So on all the member listings, the foods, the recipes, somewhere in the description or a smart tag, if it said getting hungry. The global website searches, you can and you can create a direct link to it, but you can do a keyword search for getting hungry, however you spell it, and it'll show you all the different posts, like the recipes, the restaurants, the catering, who fall in the who have getting hungry in somewhere in their description or one of their data fields. In my opinion, this would be the easiest and quickest and best thing to do. And so you would you would set this up, the global website search, you would do it, you would add getting hungry to all those different posts, right? The recipes, the restaurants. Do a search on your own website for getting hungry. And then you get the link. What I mean when I say you get the link
copy
is
the URL.
Exactly. So let's look at jobs as an example. Let's search for okay, here's PHP, right? The web developer. So you do a search. Just copy this link here, and for your when you do a global website search, and it'll take you direct, and then you can put that in your main menu, or you can link that in on your homepage with like a custom content with like some boxes or something, and go to the getting hungry category of your site. And I think that would be the best way to do that.
Okay, so I'm on the VIP, so where would I find that, the global setting?
Can we go to your
or
site?
Are you just saying?
Yeah, maybe we can go to your site real quick.
You can. It's just food, fashion, fitness, family, fun.
Okay.
I think I've got 4 sites on mine.
This is cool for anyone else seeing this as well. So let's just go to your homepage real quick. Okay, so you have.
This is it's so like might be confusing myself.
It's okay. So
it's got a lot of wedding stuff in it. We're converting.
Right. So what you can do is, let me just check a couple things for you real quick. I haven't gone to the global website search settings in a second. Let me just see something. Yes. Okay. So you have a global website search. So if you go to site search on your site, if you go to / site search, and you can customize site search, it doesn't have to be that. Man, it could just be like everything. So this is results for everything, right? So so you see member profiles, meet the businesses, coupons, images, products, services. You can also have, whatever you want. So what you can do is, and let's look at the profiles. I don't know, let's just search farm, right? So you search farm. And let's see what you have under farm. Okay, you have 26 profiles with the word farm in it, and you have 1 video that has the word farm somewhere in it. It's probably in the description or something if we go look at it. Let's take a look at it real quick. Let's search for farm on this page. So here, it says farmhouse here. So what you can do is you've done a site search for the word farm. So what I'm saying is if you add some kind of a keyword like getting hungry or like food related, something unique, right? You add that to all the different restaurants, catering, recipes, and then you would just share this link somewhere in your main menu. I guess you're getting hungry, right? So you make that the link for getting hungry, and it would show all the results for that here.
Instead of having drop downs, so I don't have to sit there and go, okay, restaurants, catering, recipes, I can just do getting hungry and set it to that link.
You can do both. So what's cool is you can do searches on your own site and find combinations for categories, keywords, locations, and link them accordingly, the ones that are the most popular and make sense in your main menu, or create landing pages that are like portal pages that have like 6 boxes to click on, and it takes you deeper into the site. But yeah, instead of trying, so that would be my suggestion is to do that, is to use the global website search, and start tagging things that you want to show up for a certain like global search term like farm or.
And do you
whatever.
think everything should kind of be the same as far as the post categories? That way, if we're telling our members, hey, if you want to post a recipe, post it under the getting hungry category, right? Or are you saying I would have categories that say recipe, restaurants, food? In the video, like for example, as a video or an article.
A little bit overthinking it. I think you would have a post type called recipes, and what you could do is, if you wanted to, because that's going to be a form, right? And they're going to create a title, a description, and maybe you can add a hidden field that just saves text called "getting hungry," so they don't even need to do anything. I'm just thinking of one way that you can do that. So there are ways to auto tag. You can create read-only fields where it's basically going to save that as needed, so the user doesn't have to do it. Or you can create the post type, and it could be called like Getting Hungry Recipes, right? Or Getting Hungry Restaurants, or something, make it part of the title. But I was thinking just the easiest way to get all that data to your visitors, I think, would be the global website search. You could create custom landing pages or using the drag and drop builder, and you can still do that. But if you wanted a dynamic page that just shows the most recent posts dynamically without any maintenance, the site search page would be what you want.
So like if you look at the URL /gettin, GETTIN/hungry.
Dash?
Yeah,
getting.
dash, sorry. Yeah, hungry. Okay. So I went on this designer and I thought this would be cool. And that's where I was like, if I can embed all the videos there, but you're saying I can just do the /URL as a widget.
Well, this is a good page too. No, so you can do this and then link to restaurant. No, I think you're on the right track here as well. I think what you were trying to do is constantly show dynamic content on this page. I don't think you need that on this page. This page should be a portal to like the restaurants, the recipes, and the catering. You link to those, and rather than it being dynamic, I would curate the things that are going to best resonate. Rather than just this being random and the most recent, here you want to engage people with your best and most popular content of this category. So I would continue using these blocks and maybe link to like most popular recipes and have 4 recipes here and things like that. This isn't somewhere where you would want totally random content. I'd say I'd want to curate it here a bit more.
Exactly, and that's what I was thinking. So when I put newest videos, I was thinking, well, how could I do the newest videos in that category?
I would do most popular, and I would choose them yourself, because when they go to the videos search results page, they're going to get the most recent ones there anyways. I would put what you think are going to get the most clicks videos here.
Perfect.
Or the most clicks recipes here.
Okay, perfect. So my question is, how would I put that on this page?
Okay, let me go to this page with you. So that's what you perfect. Do, you already have it on the right track with this. So what you would do is just drag in a block here, like I like to do 3 and 3 or whatever, and you would just get the image right of that recipe and just call it like chicken soup for 6, right, and or whatever. And gotcha. Just get the link to the article and just link up the image, link up the button, and just put the blurb here and just save it. So you just put and just replace the image with the chicken soup image. And so you just do that 3 times.
On the button, link to that specific article.
Link to the articles on your own website. When you realize that, your mind gets blown. Actually, I've seen people be like, "Oh wow, I can just link to my own pages of my website."
Oh my gosh, that's cool. And nope, that's awesome. Well, I was thinking of pulling content from members and then of course us. And I was thinking videos, blogs, images, but I was like, images, big deal. What are people going to search really for image? Right. So I was just more thinking the videos and the touch and then of course having a search option here as well. You know what I mean? To shop our directory. Yeah. But the key thing is kind of that blog kind of feel. So I got you. So you're just saying just use the button, link it to the URL. And then if I wanted to, on the main page where I have the gettins, I could just have those go to these pages.
Exactly. You turn these into links as well. So you would turn this, whatever the representative image is for restaurants, you turn that into a link and link it to your restaurant's search result page. Exactly.
Yeah, I gotcha. So I am on the right track. Okay, cool. So it's not just adding widgets then. I was just kind of overthinking it.
Yes,
I was like, oh my God, do I have to recreate a bunch of widgets? But
no, I would go this route. All right.
Because we also have other stuff too, like, it's not just a recipe. We might do top 5 food trucks or something. So I want to link to those. So you're saying I like this design. I could just have them just keep going.
Exactly. Create portals and send people into other pages of your site. So that's the recommendation, because they're going to get to the search results page anyways, where they're going to see the most recent. So if they're coming to a landing page, might as well give them the most clickbaity content on your site, like the best recipes or this and that, just to keep them going in, and even linking to subcategories and things like that. So great work. And yeah, join us in a future webinar and let us know how you've done on your progress there. All right, let's keep things moving here. We got Evie's hand up one more time here. How you doing, Evie?
Great. How are you?
Good.
Okay, so I have a few quick questions. First of all, for my members with sub-accounts, how can I make those sub-accounts automatically populate on their profile page?
Good question. So we released a feature not too long ago. Give me one moment here. So the parent account who has sub-accounts underneath them, you can show who those sub-accounts are. So if it's a company as a parent account, you can show all the staff members or whoever the sub-accounts are on their profile page. Is that what you're looking to do?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So if you go to membership plan settings here, and I'll just edit any one of these. And this is really cool. The company likes it, and the sub-accounts like it. So let me see here if this site has it. Okay, give me one moment. Let me see if we've moved the setting.
I see something that says show sub-account tab on parent's profile page.
That's okay. That's what you want. I don't know why I'm not seeing it here for the sub-accounts, but there should be a checkbox that says show sub-account tab on parent's profile page. That's gonna create the tab on the parent's public profile page, and it will list all the sub-accounts that are connected to that parent account.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, next super quick question. So, okay, some of my members' company names are multiple words. For example, say Super Solutions. So when they log into their website, in the top right corner, they see Welcome Super. I don't want that. I want it to say Welcome Super Solutions. How can I make sure it does that?
Okay, so there is a space limit here, a character limit. You're saying here where it says sample member as an example. So I think there is a, if you want to ask that one in the Facebook group, I think there's a character limit, and it should do like a ... or it cuts it off at the last word that would fit on the line. I think what we could do is maybe put an ellipses, because if someone has like a really, really long name, it's going to create issues on mobile and on the site and things like that if this extends way too long. Like let's say it went all the way like half the page because of some weird company name. But if you want to post an example in the Facebook group with a screenshot of what you're seeing, I could provide you with a workaround for that for your site.
For sure. I wonder if I could make it say hi instead, so that the character limit is maybe a little bit extended, maybe.
Yeah, it's hard to visualize exactly, but if you want to post it in the Facebook group, I can show you exactly what to do for your site, and I think other people would like to see that as well. Shouldn't be too difficult.
Okay, last super quickest question of all.
Sure.
Okay, so on the website's main menu, I have an events drop-down menu. Everything's working correctly. I added a few things, and they're working great, except the little arrow that designates it as a drop-down menu is missing. And I don't know what to do about that. I don't know how to get it back. My other drop-down menus in the menu have that little arrow, and that one doesn't. So what do I do?
What's your site? Let's take a look at that together.
Yeah, for sure. It's pretendyfun.gvguide.com.
All right, so let's take a look at your site real quick, and you need to add the drop-down link to here.
Yeah,
okay, so
the links are there, but the little arrow, you see?
Yeah, so you can add those yourself in the menu manager. Because some people like to use different arrow styles or images or icons, so it's not there by default. Here you can see Games has it, I think, right there.
Yeah.
So here it is. You can just copy these little brackets here. So Games, from Games to Games. Yeah, this one's a little codey, but not too difficult. And we'll just put that at the end of events.
Okay.
And this is an angled down icon, which is what we're seeing there. So let me save the changes. And let's refresh your page. And like some other people do, like if you search like HTML down arrow, here, HTML arrows or carrots, I think. You see, like you could just copy and paste some of these things. You find the one that you need. But anyways, it's here now. Yeah, so you could, if you wanted to, you could, I'm just do it as an example, just paste this in here. I'll change it back, but We'll just use that little weird up thing. Looks like the Prince sign. All right, let's see here. See, now it's that little free icon, up, double arrow, whatever. So we'll just paste back the this one here. But yeah, people like to use different things depending on their site. So you just paste the down arrow yourself here next to the name.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you for your questions, Evie. All right, good stuff there, guys. Another fantastic webinar, tons of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the tip of the week. I think, you know, we're going to continue showing examples of how you can integrate your site with third-party solutions. I think the possibilities are endless. Today's was a great one on how to, you know, automatically send your content to social media. It can save you time. It can, you know, a lot of us are lazy. I'm lazy myself. It's hard to like do the extra step to go to Facebook and make a post. So if you set this up and it's on autopilot, it can really ensure that you're taking care of your marketing, especially if you're a one-man or one-woman show. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks, guys. And we will have the replay of this webinar available in our Facebook group. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook and go ahead and click the blue join button there. In just a few moments, we'll paste the replay link to this webinar so you can fast forward, rewind any parts of this in real time. And of course, speaking of YouTube, you can join our YouTube channel. Go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube and click on that red subscribe button. You'll get updated as soon as we have new videos and tutorials available. On behalf of myself, David, thank you so much for the slides you put together today. They were awesome. And also the entire Brilliant Directories team. Have a great day and a brilliant week. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks, guys. Take care and see you soon. Bye-bye.